Today, or rather in this video, we are going to talk about the spirit of learning and how it contributes to a full life. And I ask this question, Mom. So, for context, for anyone who's watching this and you've not watched the previous video, this is my mother. What's your name?
My name is Cecilia Raita Rinchoni,
She's my
proud
mom.
mother of Clara.
And
And
Kawe.
Kawe Mercy.
Yes. For context and a brief summary, is my mom is 67, Tebo?
Yes.
And she has been learning all through her life. Most recently, she has become a court annexed mediator and doing a different type of profession from what she was doing before.
Yeah.
In her life, as she was telling us in the first video, one of her coping mechanisms was to continually keep learning, reading, occupying her mind with good things. And I want us to spend some time talking about that, or rather, you spend some time guiding me about that, because a lot of the times we want to arrive, you want to say that, okay, if only I get that certificate, that'll be it. I'm done with school, or I'm done with education. But I want you to challenge that mindset in the context of happiness. So share with us how you've used learning, you've embraced it, you've fostered it. If I can say, that is one of the greatest inheritances I've gained from you while you're alive.
Yeah.
You've taught me how to read, and not just read in school. You've taught me how to read at home. You've taught me how to challenge ideas, how we can have dialogue. I think most recently you were a witness of Mercy and I dialoguing on a tricky subject.
Yeah.
And you are the one who has taught us through the family setting how to exchange ideas, even on the most difficult subjects in terms of politics, education, so on and so forth. So I'll hand it over to you to take us through how you have grown in that sense, but also share some nuggets, reinforce what you've taught me, that indeed that is the way to go.
Yeah. Well, thanks for welcoming me once again. Now, she's taking me back to memory lane. And my memory lane is quite long, but since she wants it to be short, I'll be short. Now, for me, going to school was really a blessing. During that time, the idea was finish school very fast, get married, take care of the others. And because, as you heard, I didn't stay with my parents, they were not there. I stayed with my sister, who was overloaded with relatives. She had so many relatives. Even I sometimes, right now I'm older, when I think about it, I don't know how she managed, because she was so young. She gave us everything. I never saw her with a new clothes. And even me, I never wore a new clothes, because she could had it down. So the basic education she gave us, all of us, it's like it was enough. Personally, I really wanted to continue education, but there was nobody who was ready to pay school fees, because it was not fair. So I was given the basic. And according to me, that basic was not enough. Mom did not go to school. Dad died very early. So there was nobody to encourage us, or there was nobody to encourage me, do this, do that. So I did the minimum education, the one my sister and my brothers could afford. And then I realized that's not where I belong. I said, now I've gotten employed, the money is little, but I must continue until I reach where I want. So after nursing, I continued. When you work, you realize that you have a gap. You realize that you can't move on until you are something better. You don't want to just be seated there at the bedside with the patient. You can't move on. You know what you are supposed to do, but because you don't have the papers, you can't do it. And that is what encouraged me to go back to school, to continue learning. At the same time, I also did not want to always think back of what I could have gotten if my dad was there, what I could have gotten if I had richer parents. I buried myself in work and in books, but it was not conscious. I think it was an unconscious behavior. And every time I read, I was happy and I wanted to read more and more. Until today, I still read. Like psychology, I read even today. I've handed all my books to my beautiful girl here, but I still buy more. Nampatia hii, I buy more. So I think what pulled me to reading more is so that I can get, I felt like there's something I needed to get. And it's still there, that desire is still there. And me and my husband, we said, because even my husband also went through the same challenges like I did. When he was growing, he actually lost his mother at birth, and he was brought up with in a very difficult way. And so it's like we met two people who went through, who had a story. I know everybody has a story, but the two of us, we had the same story. So and maybe that's why we fell in love when we discovered we had almost the same story. So we didn't go beyond, the family did not educate us beyond what they could. So it was us now who had to work very hard to learn.
Yeah.
For us also, we have really encouraged our children because we were never encouraged. So we tell them, read, read, read. Just to mention again, how do I navigate with people of different cultures? As you have heard, I moved from one house to another. My older sister, my other sister, my brother, and in every house I went, I met different rules. And I had been advised, whatever rule you meet there, follow it. You are there for a season and not for a long time. So every time I went to stay with one person, I could tell myself, I'll be here for only 1 year. So let me do what they want me to do. I'm told run, I run. Wash the car, I wash the car. Boil water and bring in the bathroom, I bring. I think I was the most obedient person on earth. Because anytime I'm told to do this, I remember what my mother was telling me. Obey. And actually, I obeyed and I succeeded. Another thing, when I got married, also I got married to a man who was a district officer then. Today, I don't know, they are called county commissioners. And in Kenya, district officers were moving from one place to another. Some places he could work for 1 year, another place he could work for months.
Yeah.
And because I was also employed by the government as a nurse, every time we moved, I only used his letter for transfer. So we moved from one region to another, and people have different cultures. And for us, we had to cope. We had to learn languages. I had to learn, other than my language, I had to learn Kikuyu, I had to learn Luo language, so that I can cope in the workspace. And I think also that traveling removed all the histories from our minds. We forgot about where we had come from, and we thought of the today. I think that also moving from one place to another, working with people of different cultures, it really helped us. Then after that, after now, I've grown completely. I've also done a lot of traveling through the NGO I worked with. And yeah, that's how I cope.
Yeah.
Because we were told, when you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. If I go to America, I have to learn what do they like, how do they talk. If I go to Tanzania, because I've been to Tanzania, I've been to Uganda, I have to learn how do they dress. When I go there and they put on trousers, I put on trousers. They put on dresses, long dresses, and that's what I've told my children.
Yeah.
When you go to a family, even if you are visiting, don't go to impose your things to them. Find out, how do they want people to be? Do they want you to greet them?
Yeah.
Do they want you to talk when they are talking? Do they want you to be silent? Be an observer. That's what I keep, and that's what I did, and that's how I survived, and that's how I'm happy, because I think I'm really, really happy.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. And I think that's so good to share. And because you've shared that, I can ask a follow-up question in that. Sometimes the holdback from people is that They're scared that if they conform, they lose themselves. But I want you to speak on the fact that you are untouchable. You understand? That just covering your hair, like if you enter, for instance, if I come to your home and you say, in this house, we dress like this, dressing like that does not take away who I am. It doesn't erase my personality, my faith, my. You understand? So I want you to speak about that, in that no one can take you away from you. You know, no one can bogo you. Watu wanasema
I'm
unbogable.
unbogable.
You know, so if
Yeah.
someone says this is how we do things and you comply, it doesn't take your power away from you. And I want you to speak of the opposite on how it empowers you. Yeah.
Well, when I look at currently what is happening, what you are calling the Gen Z, although I don't understand it much,
Yeah.
because of my background, because from the word go, governments have had problems, there have been riots and all that. But sometimes when I look at it as we speak now, I'm looking at it as for example, if personally I took things different from how I've taken, maybe I could be a very rough person, you know, somebody with hate, asking, why God, why did you take my dad, why didn't I stay with my this, but I grew believing that I'm a child of God. It is only God who can touch me. It is only God who can shape me. But through other people, I could see God. And then I also didn't have this kind of resistance in change of what I'm told to change. Things like dressing. I know during growing time, we could be told, don't put on a miniskirt, don't put on this. And then I said, if putting on a long dress or tying a lasso is what makes the person who is taking care of me happy, why not? After all, it is only today. Tomorrow I'll
wear my miniskirt.
I'll wear my miniskirt. And when I was growing, I tried not to do what I'm told not to do, even away from the eye of the person who is taking care of me. Because I always knew my sister, she said, don't put on a miniskirt. So if I'm 10 kilometers and I look back, I could still see my sister. So if my sister told me, Cecilia, I've allowed you to go out, don't take alcohol. Anytime I saw people taking alcohol, I could see my sister near the bottle. So I never took. So what I can tell young people is if you are being taken care of by somebody, you don't have any earnings, just obey what they tell you, as long as they are not telling you to do anything against God. If it is your behavior, if it is how you carry yourself, if somebody tells you, I don't want you out of the house by 5, be in the house by 5. It is only for that time, and tomorrow will come. So I think that is how I took life. I said, for me to survive, for me to get what I want, I must obey by all means. And then also, the Bible tells us everything. You read from, you have been told something, go to the Bible, check. How did they do it then? Because actually that is our dictionary. Bible is the human character dictionary. If you want to know how you should behave, just go to the Bible. It tells us, I think it gives us everything, even education levels. People got educated there. So I think my survival tactics was obedience.
Yeah.
And then patience, knowing that you're going somewhere, and then knowing that you have to work hard to be something. And working hard is continuous. You learn that work is godly. God called us to work.
Yeah.
He created Adam and Eve, gave him a shamba or a garden of Eden, gave him animals,
Yeah.
gave Adam and Eve animals, the birds, and they were told, take care of that. So, if God told us to work, then why don't we work? When we don't work, then it is a sin. Yeah, it is a sin not to work, because God told us we must work.
Yes.
We must toil.
Yeah.
And that's how I've sustained my sanity but I think it has really been good.
Yeah.
Doing these many courses, I think, was also meant to be able to understand myself, because I thought, "Ai, how am I coping? It means I'm abnormal." So I had to go and to check to check books, because you see some other people believing that what you are going through is not right. Some people, they are told to work so they pay school fees, and they refuse. They just run away from home. They are sent to go and do a chore for them to be given food. They refuse to do it. Then I was saying, if you are told to go to the shamba so that you can be given food, why can't you just go and be given food? And all through my life, I told my God, I want to be the best. And for now, from the time I started being myself, I mean being able to take care of myself and take care of my children, every day I was telling myself, mimi ni wale walisaidiwa. I am one of the people who was always helped. So my home also became a home of everybody. Because I said, if I was helped, why can't I also help this person?
True.
And for me also, anything which I saw negative from wherever I lived, I said, I will never do this one to somebody. For example, I could say, if I'm eating rice, we all eat rice.
Yeah.
If I'm taking tea without milk, we all take tea without milk. Whether you are my child or not my child. If you are all eating food which is not fried, all of them eat the same. Because I could tell myself, when I was young and I saw somebody eating meat and I don't eat meat, it could really hurt. However, my mother was always there, was telling me, in fact, even meat is not nice. So I grew knowing meat is not nice. So even now I don't like it. And then she could tell me, tea with milk, it's not even nice. Then I said, okay. So even today, my body rejected milk. So I try my best to do what is right. However, there are here and there. You know, a human being can never be perfect.
Yeah.
That's how I sustained my sanity, sweetheart.
All right.
And that's what I teach you.
Yeah.
Learning is every day. Until death do you part. Yeah. Learning through school, learning through others, learning through workmates. But you also you must have wisdom to differentiate the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And it is only God who can help you to differentiate the good and the bad.
It's
Like now when there are riots, it is for you to know. Okay, yeah. It's for you to know how you navigate. Yeah, how you navigate. Okay. Yeah.
You know, yeah. Hey, let's
It's
see.
for you to know how you navigate everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're in school and things are not happening,
How do you approach
how
the
do you
challenge?
approach it? If others want to leave school and you really want to continue, how do you cope?
How do I cope?
Yeah.
And that's such a good sharing, because sometimes we get lost in the trend.
Yeah,
You know,
by the way.
you get lost in the emotions of the day.
Yeah.
You forget about tomorrow. Or even you forget about yesterday in terms of how far you've come.
It's true.
And even that this too shall pass. You know, the way you're saying, knowing that wisdom, the way mwana okirera. Yeah. So that knowing that this is wise but not for me.
Not for
you
me,
know,
yeah.
this is good but not good for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's good for someone else but not for me.
Or not good now.
It's not good now.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe later. I think there's a lot of discernment, and that walk with God really helps you. The Holy Spirit really helps you and tells you, Clara, no. No, don't do that. Or don't accept that. Or don't stay here. Move. You know, move to a different environment, because this is not good for you. It's not necessarily bad, but it's not good for you. But thank you so much for sharing that.
Another verse which has actually sustained my life for so many years is the message of love. Unconditionally. Love everybody. Love your friends. Love your enemies.
Yeah.
Love them with what you have. I think when I remember that, and I remember God loved us so much that He has given us everything. You can choose what you want. Love is what keeps me also. Even when I want to get unhappy, then I say, He said we love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a powerful statement, Mom, because what I hear, and also from based on just my knowledge of her, which I'm so sorry, for a time I used to think it was a weakness, but now I realize it is one of the greatest strengths, in that whatever you experience, you try and find the love in that situation. You really try and empathize. You try, like, my mom can go through something and I'm like, Mom, you're a victim. She's like, no, in that situation, this was the best this person could do. So for instance, like now when you guys moved back home, and how that culture, it was such a cultural shock. When you retired,
I think I'll share that.
Share. Actually, this can be a bit. Oh, it's 21 minutes. Maybe you can share that in the next video.
Yeah.
And in that, actually, now that we've introduced it, let's go into the next video. Then you can share that with us in terms of loving people through different power dynamics, because relationships, it's hard, that there's equality in terms of the level of power. There's always that casiso, But thank you so much for sitting or listening through this video. Again, we say thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right, bye guys.